Hi, this is Serafina the singer, and I have a question for you. No doubt you've heard my story about when I had a stroke and the police said I was a black man high on PCP. My question is this: how did they know I was black? Could they tell from the voice of the person who was calling 911 that I was black? Or perhaps they already knew where I lived. Questions or answers? And it's really a question of this: who had the power? Not me. Who had the rifle? Not me. Who was just a kid? And I would also beg to say, not beg, but make a wager that when my family farm went defunct and they let loose our horses and I had to chase them, that Jeffrey T. Smith was there too, holding automatic rifles to oust people from a farm because of tax debt, which could have been paid if my brother wasn't wrongfully accused of a crime. It's harsh truth. What I say is basically the framework for targeting of a family for 30 years. And all because my mother's children might have had a promising future. But that was too much, wasn't it? I could just have a little piece of the American dream. Well, lies don't stay covered up forever. Bless you. Thank you all. And I'd like to thank the people who helped me get to this place, because honestly, I thought the world was a better place, but now I realize I have to fight for justice every single day. Part 2. So, the other day, the Montgomery County Sheriff Department posted an AI picture of a bunch of their people who were age regressed, so they look younger, meaning people who were bald have hair. Well, it actually triggered a memory, and I remembered my first experience with the Montgomery County Police Department, and a young, pause for effect, Jeffrey T. Smith. I might have been actually in his rookie year. It was in the early 90s. And our neighbor came over on Easter. I checked with my sister and my brother about that. And threatened both me, my sister, and my brother with a gun, with a shotgun, some kind of long barrel weapon. And my mom called the police, but they wouldn't take a report over the phone. So we all got in the car and we drove to Fonda, where the police department is. And in telling the story about having our neighbor come over and threaten my mother's kids and say that, he might mistake her black children, her little nigger children, for animals. The police department said that she couldn't give that report or make a complaint or get a restraining order because she in fact did not see the threatening of her children with a gun. I was about 13 to 15, and I was right there firsthand. And honestly, if that man didn't have a gun, I'd have knocked him out his ass even at that age. And so I said, okay, well, I did see it. And as an eyewitness, this man pointed a loaded weapon at my sister and my brother and I. And a young Jeffrey Smith sat on his desk and proceeded to tell me that he couldn't make a report or take a report because I wasn't 18. So let me just get this straight for you. Let me put this in a way that you can understand. A white man who was a neighbor threatened 3 black children with a loaded rifle in their own backyard, and no one could make a report. Now, I ask you this. Anybody can contest whether or not that was Jeffrey Smith. But guess what? They did not make a report. They never filed a report. Just like they didn't file any reports or complaints when I made complaints as an adult. Do you know how long ago this was? This was 30 years ago into it. The unlawful arrest of my brother, who was 16 years old at the time, and he ended up doing almost a year of time for an empty baggie. Decided to treat him like an adult. And he was pulled out of school. He never got to finish high school. And eventually, our lawyer from the Shinnecock Reservation brought the DA into quarters. In quarters, the DA picked up a bat while our lawyer asked, "Where is the evidence?" And then this DA picked up a bat and he hit his hand with it and he said, "We will do whatever we want." Finally, my brother was released from jail and completely acquitted of any kind of charges, especially because he was a minor. And I would bet that Jeffrey T. Smith has his name on the bottom of that for wrongfully imprisoning a minor. And that this beef goes back to when I was a 13-year-old girl. That's food for thought. Now you can ask yourself, do they have documents to show that? No, probably not. They'll probably say that they did document it, that it wasn't him, and that those documents were destroyed in the flood. It's all too convoluted, isn't it? It seems that the simplest answer would be that I'm right. Like 30 years, but I can tell you this. They let that girl down. They let her down big. And that man came back on Mother's Day with a gun on our front door and a loaded rifle, and he threatened her little nigger babies again. So you know what? When it comes down to who decides who gets justice and who doesn't, I think they decided that some people are just second-class citizens. Food for thought. This has been a Phoenix Rising production. Thank you all for viewing.